What did you think of the way Jalen Hurts played last night?
Jalen Hurts this year has been playing inconsistent football. And this team doesn't have a running game of which to speak unless it's Hurts running for his life or running out the gate.
But
we did see Miles Sanders actually have some success in the second half last night.
But they don't even really try to run the football with him.
I don't know what's going on. The Philadelphia offense, to me, has been very inconsistent, as you would think, with a new coach who's never done it before and a new system being brought in with a first-time quarterback who's never really gotten this level of consistent play and reps with the ones like he did all season long, with your best receiver being an undersized, highly talented Heisman Trophy winner in Devontae Smith, right? An identity that they're searching for, as you would imagine, for a team that went ahead and blew out their championship coaching staff and inserted a kid who's never done this before, which is having the team on his shoulders professionally as the one throughout an entire offseason and regular season. But he is supremely talented enough to seemingly flip a switch in the fourth quarter. If Jalen Hurts' fourth quarter numbers could be replicated in quarters 1 through 3, they'd be knocking on the Cowboys' door for first place. And then he'll eventually pull it out like he did in Carolina, right? Or like he did week 1 in Atlanta when he really looked polished and a problem, which is what I've termed quarterbacks in this league who can run it and throw it. So that's my assessment of Philadelphia. And then here's my assessment of Tampa. Look out. Look out. Honestly, everybody look out. Because what Tampa is doing now, last night, second half, didn't look so great, and I don't understand why they were going for it in the middle of the field when Philadelphia, you should make them go the length of the field.
Yeah, exactly.
And that kind of let Philadelphia back in. They scored a touchdown within like 4 snaps and then went for it on a 2-point conversion, which people are wondering, why are you going for it on a 2-point conversion? Because the next touchdown would give you an opportunity to just kick the extra point and win it. Of course, the downside is that next touchdown, you're required to try again for the 2-pointer, and you might have just already used your best 2-point play right then and there in order to get that 2-point conversion that you needed because you're running that risk. And I'm sure, again, from what I heard around my table with my buddies last night, that 2-point conversion for certain folks who are currently shaking their head across the Rich Eisen Show studio from me cost them dearly. And monetarily, correct, Chris?
Rich Eisen.
Okay, I'll move on. So
I got beef with Sirianni.
But here's the issue for the rest of the NFL with what the Bucs are doing. The Bucs are better than when they won the Super Bowl. Tom Brady's better, the offense is better, and everybody's now comfortable. Don't forget, last year, when the Bucs won it, Brady was still getting used to the system, getting used to being in Tampa, getting used to setting up shop the way that he likes it. Everyone was getting used to figuring out what Tom likes and how Tom wants it and how Bruce Arians wants it and where Bruce had to give so Tom could get what he likes and what Tom had to give so Bruce and Byron Leftwich could get what he likes, and Todd Bowles' defense was beginning to gel, and when the team was 7-5 last year, that's when you needed to knock the Bucs out. And then, as we know, nobody did. And now you're seeing Tampa when they're in a groove because they're used to it. And now last year's new parts, like Leonard Fournette and Antonio Brown, who were trying to figure out their new situation and how they fit in there, they're now main stays. Leonard Fournette is back, people. This is what we envisioned from Leonard Fournette when he was chilling out in LSU because he had to.
Right.
When Leonard Fournette presented himself nationally on the collegiate level, and we're like, okay, that kid is an NFL stud, and he was not eligible to come out in the draft. This is the Leonard Fournette that we were envisioning. And whatever was going on in Jacksonville, which I think we can assume was also part of what management's inability to relate to him and vice versa. But the Leonard Fournette that was barking at players after plays and getting flags and doing stuff like not showing up for team photos and all that sort of business, that Leonard Fournette is seemingly poof, gone. Now he's the lead back who can be leaned on. Even when Brady's not finding Evans and Godwin, and now Brown, who's back too. And you can have your problems with the reason why Antonio Brown's still out on the field. And you know I had my concerns about his mental health here, to the point where somebody who I enjoyed interviewing and seemingly enjoyed being interviewed on this show unfollowed our account and me because of what I was saying about his problems off the field and how somebody needed to get him sat down and tell him, hey, you need to work on yourself. And whatever he was able to do to get through everything, and just Google it, what the everything is, and be allowed to play in the NFL, he's now back. And he's now playing like the AB when the Pittsburgh business was booming. And Gronk's out. And he was just beginning to be a mainstay like the old days, despite him trying to get his sea legs back under him last year. It's all cooking. Won't be perfect, but it's all cooking. And the reason why I think that it's all cooking and all these players that used to have problems elsewhere are now doing it well here is twofold. One, Bruce Arians is just one of the greatest managers of people and coaches that you'll see. That's one. But then 1A that might make Bruce Arians the 1A is TB12. Because I was telling this to Cooper today when he said, Dad.
Your son, Cooper.
My son, Coop. He says to me today as he wakes up, he goes, Dad, did the Bucs or the Eagles win last night? Because, he went to sleep before it was over.
Yeah.
And I just gave him this look. What do you think? And a 10-year-old knows what that means. He goes, so Brady won. I'm like, yes, he did. And I basically told him that what Tom is doing is remarkable, not because of his age, but because of his level of play and professionalism. Others around him are better. He makes other people better. That's what I want for you out of my kids, is when you do what you do so well, others around you have no choice but to want to follow in your example. They have no choice but to do their best to match your excellence. That's what leadership is. And that's why the Bucs are like, Tom, what do you need? What do you want? Of course Antonio Brown's business is booming. Of course Leonard Fournette is doing this. Of course they wanted to come back and do it. Why not? When TB12 is showing you the way at age 44. My compadre, Kurt Warner, tweeted out today. He played in 116 National Football League games in his career. 116 starts in the NFL for Kurt Warner. Pro Football Hall of Famer out of those 116 starts. Did you see this tweet from Kurt today?
I did not.
116 starts. He threw that tweet up there. And he pointed out last night was Tom Brady's 112th career game in which he merely threw 40 times in the game. And Kurt played 4 more games, period, enough to make the Hall. And Tom, at age 44, hit the big 4-0 in attempts in a game for the 112th time in his career. And he's 5-1, moving on. Once again, looking across at a kid trying to make his bones against him and Jalen Hurts and saying, good game. Unbelievable. Bucks to NFL. Look out. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.